many Christian denominations see history and current political events as a fulfillment of biblical prophecies. Usually they talk about these prophecies in an apocalyptical context, that is, seeing and recognizing what's going on as signs of the end times. According to the Bible, before the end of the world, there will be a second coming of Christ, an existential war of the heavenly forces against evil, called Armageddon, and the total destruction of Satan and salvation of the faithful. Many of the details of these events, and especially the order in which they are going to happen, differ according to various interpretations. However, almost all Christians expect the world to end at some point, and one of the signs of the coming end will be a total depravity and degradation of the mankind. Most of the apocalyptic prophecies are intertwined and related to each other. However, we can indicate three major groups of prophecies in the context of current political events, and Russia plays an important role in some of the interpretations. First, according to the book of Revelation and the Gospel of Luke, chapter 21, the end times will be preceded by cataclysmic events, such as wars, epidemics, famines, and natural disasters. All of the human history has been full of such things, and the modern time is no exception. Yet, in our days, everything that happens is significantly amplified by media. 200 years ago, one might not know what happened in the neighboring country for a week or a month until someone came to share the news. Nowadays, we can follow live streams of military conflicts, civil unrests, or natural catastrophes. This way, we have almost unlimited access to what's going on worldwide, and many people believe that our times are especially violent and decadent. Second, Christianity is a religion of persecution and martyrs. In the very first centuries after Christ, Christians were oppressed by the state and adherents of competing faiths. In the Gospel of John 15:20, Jesus said, "If they persecuted me, they will persecute you also." In the Gospel of Luke 21:12, he also prophesies that his followers will be persecuted in his name. In many parts of the world, Christian minorities face discrimination and persecution. Even more, some of the Christian communities that worship and congregate relatively freely still believe that their rights are violated and consider this as persecutions. The interpretations of what constitutes a persecution could be quite arbitrary, from real repressions, intimidation, and discrimination to blasphemy and pandemic restrictions. Religious communities that have been historically repressed in Russia, All Believers, Pentecostals, Underground Baptists, Jehovah's Witnesses, and many others, saw their persecutions as a fulfillment of the Jesus' prophecy. Russia herself has been a part of a big apocalyptic narrative for almost a century. After the Second World War and the establishment of the Soviet Union as a nuclear superpower, many apocalyptic Christians have seen Russia as the king of the north from the book of Daniel. In the 11th chapter of Daniel, we read about two mighty kings, the king of the north and the king of the south. They constantly engage in war with each other, sometimes negotiate peace, then the war breaks out again. Meanwhile, they oppress the people of God and establish the abomination of desolation. In the biblical times, the king of the north was Syria, the king of the south was Egypt, and the people of God was Israel. Modern apocalyptic Christians believe that this chapter also prophesied about current geopolitical events. The king of the north used to be the Nazi Germany, which was defeated by the king of the south, the Allied nations. After the war, the Soviet Union took over as the king of the north, and Anglo-American alliance, or simply the Western world, became the king of the south. The persecutions of Christians in the Soviet Union were interpreted as the oppression of the people of God, and in particular the invasion into the glorious land, the land of ornaments or decoration, as described in Daniel 11:41. Current events, the war in Ukraine and religious persecution, for instance, of Jehovah's Witnesses in today's Russia, are interpreted in the same context, as a struggle for the domination of the world and the oppression of God's people. The fulfillment of all these prophecies testifies to the imminent and inevitable end of the world. This brings much suffering, pain, and fear, but ultimately this brings hope of ultimate salvation and eternal life for the Lord's faithful. Please like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. I see you all next time.